That's probably the easiest sound mix to make, right? Because it's just like quiet the whole time. Actually, probably would take a long time, right? Because again, the sound, the balance of the sound. The sound is so, important in this movie more than any that I've seen.
Yeah, because we were really pushing it, and it gets to moments that kind of follows that fridge logic. When you're at home and you think things are quiet, and suddenly the fridge goes off, you go like, "Oh shit, that was loud." And you didn't notice until it went off. And we try to do that here. Like you think it's very quiet, then it will really kill the ambience, we kill everything, and then you go like, and whoever is putting their hands in the popcorn are like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't make noise." And I love that about the movie. But it's it's part of the premise. Like if you're trying to get away from a blind person, like you better be fucking quiet. Right?
Yeah. I just want to ask you first about your process. When did you have this idea in mind? You have a lot of ideas for movies. How did you pick this one out of the ideas that you have? All great ideas. And what did you do to this one? And when did you come up with this one?
With Rodo, my co-writer on this movie on Evil Dead, and we're friends since we were 12. We really try to come up with a movie like every couple of weeks. It doesn't matter if it's shit. Like we just what if?
Be in the habit
we push ourselves to really come up with ideas. So either it's a text, I got one, and it's like, what is it about? And he tells me, and I go like, that's a piece of shit. And I go like, yeah, you got it. It's rude. But we really try. It doesn't matter what it is. We don't judge each other. It's not like, oh, you don't have good ideas. We just
like a short pitch or like
whatever it is. Like it's just an idea. We just text each other. We call each other up, and we see each other often. We live nearby. And that's what we've been doing for a long time. Even before we got to make movies, we were always coming up with ideas. It was kind of the thing. And so this is one of those, and it's kind of, whatever sticks with you, we figured out that it should be good. But this one, it was mostly about, when we want to tell a story about robbers, because I think it was kind of going back to classic Hitchcock movies. That's what we were trying to imitate in some point, or whatever you want to call it. And usually those movies, what I found fascinating compared with modern movies these days, is that the characters usually they have shady morals, right? These days it's all about like heroes with good morals, and they have to be good people, likable characters, and how they would really push for that. And we thought like, yeah, but with that logic, Psycho would never existed because she's stealing some money from this guy that wanted to buy the house for his daughter on her wedding day, and he doesn't give a fuck. She just takes the money. And I think about every Hitchcock movie, like Stranger on a Train, they're all bad people doing bad things, right? And because I don't think the term is liking, you have to empathize with them. You have to kind of understand why they do the things they do. So we really want to tell a story about robbers, but we knew we needed a bigger than life antagonist, someone that could be a cinematic figure, someone that could really bring the movie alive, because we knew that wasn't going to be enough. And I don't know how someone said like, what if he's blind, and suddenly boom, like we realized that will create so many cool scenes, and like what if he executes one of them right in front of the two and he doesn't know they're there, and all those ideas just like very quickly start coming. And why if he turn off the lights? Oh my god, of course they thought he was blind, it was going to be easy. They realized they're the one disadvantaged in that situation. So it was a very fertile idea that we started building on.
Yeah, that's a great idea when it
started with just an idea.
When it starts writing itself, when you're trying to even get away from it, the ideas just keep coming and you just can't get them down fast. No, it's such an intense moment when he's pointing the gun right at them, and even the audience has to hold their breath.
It's like a ghost story for him. That's what I like. For him, it's a ghost story. Like, and ghost stories usually scare something that might or might not be in the room, and it's there, and you're like scared. For him, because he can't see, like it's the same kind of idea. Like he's chasing this presence in his house that is not there. So I think if you're looking from his point of view, it's also a great story, right?
And you got a great way of tapping into people's, sort of unthought about fears. I thought I was the only person that was afraid of turkey basters, but now, after seeing this movie, everyone can just look at it a little differently.
I'm from Uruguay. I don't care about Thanksgiving, so I can ruin it for all of you.
You ruined it all for us, yeah. How did you come up with some of those gags? Were they just part of the process of writing? Did you have a lot more that you didn't use?
You mean the turkey baster and all that stuff?
Everything in the movie is so inventive, and what I like about how you work is it's very inventive. Everything's true to character and based on character and story. You built that set. Was that a house set? And
yes.
You explored used every inch of it. I really loved how you used it as a character.
We built the whole house because the way I saw the movie, since the beginning. Once we had an idea of what the script was, it was as a chess game. That's the way I saw it. So the blind man made a move, and then they made a move, and in pre-production I just got with all the head of departments. Back in LA, even before we traveled, really early in pre-production. Basically, sit down with them and said, okay, this is going to be a chess game. So let's do what's the board and actually, I have a Star Wars collection, action figures. So Yoda was the dog, Chewie was the blind man. We just put them on the table, and I said, like, he's gonna come through this door here, and they're gonna be standing here. So which direction you run? If there was an easy way out, we'll just erase it on the paper, right? And okay, so there was a door there, well, there's no door there anymore, right? So where should be the closet? Because naturally she's gonna walk away from the guy, so I need her to go into the closet. So okay, that's where the closet's gonna be. And that was all motivated by things I learned doing Evil Dead, that the biggest sin in horror is your characters to be puppets of the director, right? We all done that, like force our characters to just go in a different direction just to do what we need them to do for the story, to serve the story. And I did that scene in Evil Dead. Sometimes the actor will tell me, like, dude, I would never go into that cellar. and I will explain why she will go anyways. I think you will go anyways because she's like, you're worried about her. And she's like, man, like, she's fucking possessed. I would never go into that cellar. And I would just pitch it why she will go, because she doesn't know she's in a horror movie and blah, blah, blah. But I learned that the audience demands that these characters should know the environment and the kind of story they're being part of. And so I was really trying to get them to behave in natural and organic ways and really run into the right direction all the time and do things like that. And hopefully get you guys to give them advice that gets them killed, right? Like, you go like, run to that door, yeah, go there, oh shit, oh, he's dead. So then you shut up and you just like you try to figure out where they're gonna take you, right? And that's why I figured I needed the perfect house, so so whatever move they did made sense, and that was the only way out. And even getting into crawl space, I mean, there's nowhere to go, so either you get shot in the face or you go into crawl space. And so I get them to go to the places they need to go without, and they're really in the movie, there was rarely a time where the actors will tell me, I would never do that, right? Because it was very tight in that aspect, right? So that's why we created the whole thing that way.
That's great. By the way, if you have a question, you can text Ask Alamo, and we'll take a question here.
That's true.
Yeah, the morally ambiguous characters is wonderful, because you're watching going, well, I don't know who to root for. They should all suffer terribly and horribly. Now, how did you pick your cast? What was it like with Stephen Lang? He's fantastic.
He's fantastic. I mean, you know how these guys, the veterans are the easy ones. The kids are the ones that drive you crazy. And there's a reason why they become veterans and still working, because they're great professionals. They're really good at what they do. But he's a stage actor, right, from New York. He's a New Yorker, and he did a lot of Broadway over there. And there was two things that were interesting about him. One, he has played a military guy many, many times. So that made my work easier. I don't have to tell him who his character is. He knows exactly who that guy is. And but he had never played the blind guy, so he was fascinated by that. And the other thing, being a stage actor, he was able to do things that I don't even understand how he did it. But he's not faking the blindness in the movie. Most of the time, he's actually those are scleros lenses. You don't see shit with those. And particularly in those low light levels, he wouldn't see anything. So he would really memorize all the steps from the kitchen to the living room and hit his marks. And in those movies, if you miss your mark, particularly the kind of camera work that we do here, it's out of focus, right? Like, you don't see shit. The shot doesn't work. And he will nail it every fucking time. And I was blown away by how he did that without even seeing it, right? But all that, of course, is being a professional and being a master of his art. And then stuff like, the turkey basted to the mouth, which is my favorite part of the movie. It's like, that wasn't in the script, was, the baster was on the floor and we're wrapping up, and I was like, oh, wait a second, that's wrong. That cannot just stay there. Like, like in every movie where there's a bomb and someone's gonna defuse it, have you noticed, they always go off. You never defuse it, that's it. They throw it in the ocean, it has to go off, right? If you introduce the bomb, it has to go off. And that was one of the things that it has to go off somehow. And I went to Slang, that's how you should call him, by the way, if you meet him, Slang, that's how he liked to be called. And I told him, do you mind if I stab you in the face with a baster full with and he was like, dude, I think I deserve it. And I was like,
if I've done my job correctly,
exactly. I deserve it. And that's how great he is. He was a didn't give you any problem with that. He thought that was something that the character of Rocky deserved to do after going through that scene. And those are the kind of actors I love to work with, that are willing to take the risk and go for the madness. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But willing to take the risk, and that's what he did every day.
Did he get all method on the young pups and go method acting off camera and play blind and scare them?
No, he's pretty method. I mean, he's one of the chairmen of Actors Studio, actually. But he would, because of the lenses and not be able to see. But usually, someone will bring him by the hand and put him in a corner, and he will be there. And I will go to him and just piss him off and tell him, like, you see, these kids are just trying to rob your money, and that money just represents your daughter. It's the only thing you have left in your life, and they're gonna take your witches and burn it. He was spending in a week, probably, and he was like, oh, fuck those kids. He was getting mad at them. So all I had to do when I scream action was just like, let the leash go and just send it after him. So he was brilliant in that aspect, and he was intimidated the other actors so much. I tried to really keep them apart, in the production, the different hotels. They don't meet until I'll say action, and usually some of those scenes where he's like, who's there? That's probably the first time the rest of the cast see them in character, so they're like, oh fuck, he looks scary, and they haven't seen him before that. I really tried to do that to give them a real experience, and that I think comes across. And then of course he beat the shit out of them for real. Like all that physical violence, as you know, is very hard to fake, right? Like if you want to hit someone against the wall, you got to do it. And some of those punches, actually, when he's punching Alex in the face, he land a couple of those are nasty. But this. If everybody in the movie is having a great time and they're safe and having jokes, you'll be bored here in the theater. Like we're really all this is for you guys, and if someone has to be hit in the face for you to have a good time, I'll do it, right? Because I'm not the one being hit in the face. That's what I do.
That was cool that you brought back your lead actress from Evil Dead, and then once I'm watching her, I'm going, wait, why would she go through this again? She knows what she's expecting from you the whole time. Every time she calls action, she's going to be suffering, she's going to be crying, she's going to be. Did she miss it? Did she want to come back from more despair?
Like it was complicated. I mean, we became good friends after Evil Dead, and she was the first one to read the script when I was done with it, and but then by the time we were ready to make the movie, she wasn't available. She became available 2 weeks before Principal Photography. I called her up. I didn't have an actress for it yet, and she said yes right away. So she really trusts me on that one, but then I think as soon as the shooting starts, you remember why that was a bad idea, and we're like an ordinary couple. We have good days, bad days, and then I think towards the end of the whole thing, she hated my guts, and I'm a really nice person to her, but it's just like you said, it's really hard, and she's someone that never phones it in. She really gives 200% every shot. And that's exhausting. It takes a toll on you, and those scenes were very demanding. And at the end, she was like we wrap, and she was like, "Okay, I got home," and just walk out of the set. But I respect her for that. I admire that she has that passion, and she really gives everything.
I have a question over here.
Yeah, our first question is from Twitter. And it's from Kashama Lama, and they asked, when did you know Jane Levy was a perfect fit for the role?
Well, I think I realized I wanted her to do this in the beginning, like I just said, but then she wasn't available to make it, so I started casting every young girl in Hollywood, and believe me, it's very hard to find actors of her level. Like she's really good at what she does. She's really picky with her movies. Like she hasn't done a lot of things because she, like I said, she's picky. She never go for something that she doesn't really fully believe. So she hasn't done a lot of movies, and for me that's a great thing. It's kind of my actress of my movies, and I like that.
But so you can count on them too, right? I mean, you can count on her where someone knew you're almost like taking such a huge leap of faith. She's had the trial by fire already.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Go ahead.
And I think this movie was even tougher for her because Evil Dead was tough because of the makeup and the blood and because the shit are sticky and you spend a lot of time in the chair. That was most of the problems. Here was more psychologically the violence that she was undergoing and having those moments with Stephen Lang, that they were very complicated for her and not easy to shoot at all, right?
Okay, second question is from Me Can't Michelle, and she would like to know, your female characters are very strong. Can you discuss influences, challenges when writing them?
something that Jane says usually, and if you remind, she reminded me of this this weekend when we were talking about the movie, and that during the making of the film, I really try her not to behave as a woman, like meaning as a woman in film. I just go like, oh, usually you will be terrified, and if you do it like if you were a guy, what would the guy make? Like, be, as she was saying, I was always telling her during the making of the movie, be Bruce Willis. What would Bruce Willis do here? I would just crawl in the thing, and if the dog comes, I would just jump down and crash my face. I don't care. So I really try to be kind of neutral in that aspect. When it comes to the action and the violence and all that, if she's gonna get punched, she's gonna get punched. I know because she's a woman in the story, so I can be safe from that because I see her as just a very, very strong person. So, and then of course I think for the story itself, I think it's amazing that it's not a coincidence that she's a girl. It's not because I think that's cool. It's just because she needed to be a girl to go through the things she goes. Of course, obviously we got it's all the turkey-based madness, but most importantly, when they find that girl in the cellar, I think the guy is like, I'm fucking out of here, I don't give a fuck. But she has that empathy that I think only a woman could have in that moment, saying like, there's no way I'm gonna take a risk and just leave her here and maybe call the cops, and maybe when they come, she's not here anymore. So some of those decisions, I think just a woman will be able to take that courage and that situation and go for it. But almost like obviously, and also it all obviously the turkey baster scene really depends on her being a woman, and I think that all comes of me. Just I have a kid, I have a 2-year-old, and so 2 years ago, I witnessed the miracle of what women do, which is insane. Like us men, we don't know shit, right? We just give her the sperm, and they go like, yeah, I got it, and they give you back a person. Like, there you go, you have a person. Yeah, we were telling people while I was shooting that episode from Dust Till Dawn here is when I was telling people like, I gotta be a dad. And so being through that, I was like, antagonists in movies always want power, right? That's what I usually want, some sort of power of some level. And I realized that day that women itself, able to create life in such a way, is the most powerful thing ever, right? Like you can create a person, like it's insane, and when you witness it, it's insane. So I thought like I never saw a villain that actually that's what they want. They want just life back in their life. They're lonely, they want a life in their life, and they need the person capable of giving them that, and that's a woman, and I thought that was a powerful thing that I felt needed to be in the movie, right? So those are all the reasons why she's a female lead character, and I think that's obviously also what you see in the movie, that she's very, very strong, right?
That's pretty amazing. I remember, I had like 5 kids. Every time I had a kid, I wanted to have another kid. You have a kid, you want to go do a turkey baster scene. So, fatherhood affects us all differently. If you have a question, go to the mic. And you have a question?
Yeah, there's another one from Twitter. It's at Jake Shear wants to know, Wait Until Dark, was it a significant inspiration for Don't Breathe?
No, it wasn't. Because I haven't seen the movie when I wrote it. When I was done with the script and I was chatting with my mom, and my mother said like, oh, that's just like Wait Until Dark. And I was like, what's that? And she said like, oh, it's this movie with Audrey Hepburn. And I was like, oh, I should check it out. And I saw it, before we shot the movie, I saw it, and I thought it was fantastic. But it was a pure coincidence. And I mean, as you know, ideas are a thing that are just very strange in the air, and anybody can come up. Sometimes 2 persons come up with the same idea at the same time, and sometimes this idea that already been made. And honestly, I'm 100% honest here, I had no idea what that movie. But once we knew, it made things easier for us, because when we were pitching it to people, it was like, oh, it's just reverse Wait Until Dark. So that's thanks to my mom that let me know about that film.
Do you have another Twitter question?
Yeah. Let's see. At Vertigo Flovers wants to know, in how many days was the film shot?
45.
Wow. Awesome.
So that's
Quick
good
answer.
actually for Hollywood these days. Usually people make movies in 20 days sometimes. It's insane.
I think that's it for Twitter questions.
Okay, I know some of you have questions, but you just don't want to, I know that feeling, you don't want to get up and go all the way to the mic. So
yes.
You raise your hand, I'll call you. There you go. You're right there in C10. Okay, so the question is, so he saw you credited for solo viola. What's the rest of your question? Why did you want to play?
I do. I'm in love with the whole craft of filmmaking, and that's what really got me into this work. I guess I since I'm very young, I learned to do every aspect of it, and that goes to that story when I say hi to Robert, because I felt he had kind of the same passion for the craft of just like shooting film, and so I learned every aspect of it, and I've been a musician since I'm very young. I play piano all my life, and also of instruments, and the viola is one of those I started exploring like a few years ago, and I play it now, and just because it's such a difficult instrument, and Rocky Banya is a composer. I usually play on my movies. I mean, in this movie, like I played that, all the credit sequence at the end, that I did that on my computer, and then the hand that grabs her face, when she's grabbed on the tight space, I didn't got the shot. It was grabbing her hair, but didn't work in the shot because you didn't see the hand. So on my computer, I just did a CG hand, and I put that hand on her mouth, and I do that a lot. There's many aspects of filmmaking techniques that I love. I think acting is the only one that I suck at it, and I will never be able to do it. I was about to do it on your show, remember, and then I couldn't do it.
Oh, that's right.
I wanted to do it. That was the only one I never really tried. But then the rest of them, I enjoy doing them. If I can do it on my movies, it saves me money because I don't have to pay someone to do it. So I try to do them. And we needed a viola solo for the turkey baster scene for the and because I kind of suck at it, it sounds more terrifying. And that's why I played it.
I can play horrifically.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's there, actually.
That's great. I didn't notice that. Sharp eye. I didn't notice that you played music on that. That's fantastic. It's fun, right?
I did a lot of piano on Evil Dead, and I just did viola on this one.
That's awesome. Well, wait, one more question right there. Yes. Who's the dedication to it?
It's a very sad story, actually. It's a friend of mine. I got to Hollywood through a short that I did called Panic Attack. It was a short we did $300 back in Uruguay. And the producer of that, which was a producer friend of mine, that it was always a guy with me on the street. He got killed in just a gang, real unrelated thing. It's just a bullet that just flew and killed him like a year ago now, a little bit more than a year ago, and it's just a very sad story. He was the nicest guy in the world, and he always worked with me, and he was also the co-writer's friend, his best friend and brother of my co-writer, and so we thought we need to dedicate the movie to him. Let's finish with
right here.
with a question that is not so sad.
Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
So you pushed really hard and towards some really intense emotions, but you never crossed that line that would have, I think, cheapened this movie in a lot of ways. Was there anything that you considered doing that maybe you had to dial back, that was a little too intense?
Usually the logic for me and Rodo, and I don't know if you've seen Evil Dead, but and that one is the same. Like, as soon as we hear ourselves saying, "Nah, that would be too much," we were like, "Oh, now we have to do it," because we believe the genre. At least if you think about the best examples of horror and horror thrillers, they were always about some scene that was like fucked up, like beyond anything you've seen before, right? It's always been about that. It is harder for us to know now because you look back and you see Psycho today, you go like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. But when people saw Psycho the first time and she get killed in the shower, it's just like it's insane. It was insane. People were like throwing up in the theater, running out of their theater. Everybody was in shock. Well, that was what Hitchcock wanted. He wanted to just do something that will blow your mind, and you would be witnessing something against your will that you never thought was going to happen at that point in the movie. And I think, and of course, if you think about The Exorcist and the fuck me Jesus thing, it's just like insane, right? And I think every classic has that scene that is just, it's too much, right? And even Psycho, if you think about it, like it ended up with a guy dressed up like the mother, like with a crazy smile. He's just as goofy and cheesy in some levels, right? But it was basically because he wasn't afraid to go as far as he could, and his imagination took him. And so we know that is a good thing. That if you come up with something that you think you should do it, and it's a little bit too much, for this genre should never be too much, right? And of course, I mean, you got to keep some sort of tone and style, and you cannot just go bananas and ruin the movie, right? But I will tell you, and maybe some people here thinks that in the theater, like some people see the Turkey Bates and go like, oh, I'm out. This is just like, it's just. But what I like about it is that while one is saying I'm out, the other one is going like I'm in love with this movie, right? and that's how the genre works. It should be divisive, and if I'm doing something that everybody loves, it means that it's watered down and down the middle. And I don't want to do that. I always rather alienate some audience, but make sure that the ones that are my favorite audience are in love with the movie, and they just can get enough that having people being indifferent to it. So it's always, that's the logic always. Like if I feel it's too much, I'll do it. And if the studio tells me like, I think if you remove that, they're done. That's gonna stay. Like, because it's hard to get someone to go like, I think you should remove that from the script because it's too much. So it's, particularly these days when people seem to have seen anything, right?
Great answer. Great question. Great movie. Fede Alvarez, great director. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you all for coming.